This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be putting together a custom Masters of the Universe vintage version of Kronis. In order to do so, we need to take apart a body for trap jaw. I have already done that, and I will include the video of my attempts to take that body apart in this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now, shall we? All right, so we're going to try to break open this trapjaw figure in order to do our custom Kronis figure. And I'm going to be using the hammer technique, I guess, is what you might want to call it. The idea is, of course, that you need to crack open the torso in order to take it apart. I've also got some extra tools here to help with that. I've also got a rubber mallet here. I'm hoping that it's not too soft to work. And that is a fail. That is a big, big fail. So that was a little too hard. Let's try again a little more gently. I don't know, maybe part of the problem is I'm using figures that are already kind of broken, but we did actually start opening up a crack over here. So now we got that crack. Kind of work our knife in there and oh man, it's cracked up. Oh shit. Quite a bit of the torso cracked. That's not what we wanted. Because the whole point was to try to get the... And if I bang this again, it's going to crack all the rest of the way, isn't it? But it sort of worked. Here. This is kind of what we wanted. Wonder how many trap jaws I'll end up going through. And that one broke. Quite thoroughly. So, that was also a failure. This will be our final attempt with this method. I'm hoping that maybe because he's not already broken, that he won't finish cracking anymore. So, because we want to hit them kind of... There we go. See, that side crack. Oh, nice. This one cracked up really easy. We may not even need to use any other tools here other than our hands. Maybe. I don't want him to break any more than this. All right, so something is still stuck in there, so we will take one of our small screwdrivers. I'll get two of them out just to be safe. Kind of slide it in there. There we go. And ta-da! We have taken apart one of our trap jaws. God, it would be nice to be able to replace the springs in here, but I just don't think I want to try cracking open one of these. Although I guess I could with one of the other two that I broke. But this one did come apart in really good condition. So we will definitely have a body that we can use for our custom Kronis figure with this. So yeah, not every attempt went particularly well with that. So just want to make note that the vintage figure plastic can be very brittle. And I would definitely say if the figure is already broken, don't even try to take the torso apart. Because I think that may be part of the reason why those first two shattered the way they did. Well, I guess the first one shattered, the second one just kind of cracked in the wrong spot. Either way, it still ended up the same way. Basically useless. However, I did get two other ones taken apart because I did buy a bunch of different trap jaws in order to both do this video and to get a good trap jaw vintage version in my collection. So first off, I am going to bring out a piece of cardboard so I don't mess up the table. So we have a couple sets of body parts here. And I should probably have made sure I kept these separate so I didn't mix up the different torsos, but stupid me, I did not think to do that. I've got a couple different arms here. We have a bunch of trap jaw equipment. Got a pair of belts. We got a trap jaw arm. And a couple of trap jaw heads. So this pile will be for our trap jaw, and this pile here will be for our Kronis. That being said, I've got this box here. This is from Barbarossa Customs, and after my last video when I did King Grayskull, he did in fact send me a pronunciation guide for his name because I was saying it wrong the entire time. This order also had the helmet I used for the vintage Stridor. So first off, we've got the usual card that comes with every order. I've got a pair of power swords, one silver, one black. I wanted the black one for Wandar so he could have his own power sword, and I got the extra silver one because I just kind of wanted a silver one. But the star of our show today is going to be the Kronis parts. Unfortunately, the color match is not going to be the greatest because it's very hard to actually find a Kronis where his color is still good on his torso. But that's alright. He also comes with this energy axe. Oh yeah, that's the thing too, is that he comes with a pair of new arms, although this is basically the same arm as previously. This is just a recreated version. So it doesn't have the two slots there, but it is a grabbing hand. Grabbing hand. Why do I keep saying grabbing when I say hand? And I'm kind of wondering if we might actually want to heat these up before putting them on the body. But the main thing is we've got a Kronis head. And the Kronis head is a lot more angry looking than the one that came in the Keldor 2-pack. A little bit different. I think it fits well though with the whole vintage look to it. Here, we'll just compare it to one of the trap jaw heads I have over here. This is a resin. So, what we will need to do is put the body back together. Let's double check here. Maybe I should use this torso. This torso is a little bit closer, I think, than this one. So we'll use this torso for Kronis. So as you know, with vintage, they had the spring in here, which is what allowed you to get that spring movement action. So we will need to make sure that we attach that up here to here, like that. Now they also have these little pegs in there, which 3 of them are broken on this torso from when I separated it. Couldn't really be helped too much, but what we will do is I'm going to take the plastic weld, I'm going to put some on these little bits here, and I'll put a little bit on some of these areas over here. The head itself will also have to be put into place, which I think I will put that on after the plastic weld. And maybe actually I won't actually do any of the weld actually by the neck. I'll just kind of stick around this area. Of course, we got our bottle of plastic weld right here. So let's hope I don't screw this up. So the whole point of the plastic weld is it kind of messes with the plastic itself so that it can kind of glue itself together. I'm going to put some up here on the shoulder. Said I want to put it on the little areas here. Some in the holes. And I will also try to put some on the corresponding parts on the other side as well. Although trying to hold this thing and do it at the same time. Plus, it gives it a little bit of time for the plastic weld to do its part. Since again, it's supposed to react with the plastic itself, right? Okay, so we got that side done. Like I said, we want to put some on the tabs here. I hope I'm putting enough on there. Then when you get all this done, you want to hold the thing together for, I believe, like 15 seconds to help it set. And then, of course, you need to let it sit overnight to fully cure. All right, so we'll back to the back parts. Put the spring back in place. Put the head on. Oh my lord. There we go. Now we will hold this in position for roughly 15 seconds to help the welds kind of seal together. And I will just keep talking for a bit to waste time as we wait for it to cure. Being careful not to put too much pressure. I think also what I may want to do is put a little bit of the plastic weld along the seam itself out here. Now that that's together, let's go ahead and do that. I hope that was 15 seconds. Because this should also kind of suck in. And the excess is supposed to evaporate. So it doesn't like leave too much of a mess afterwards. I've used plastic weld like one other time when I was messing with Ram Man. Now we'll hold this together again for another 15 seconds or so. Kind of already looks like some of it's starting to evaporate. Body parts still move, okay. And then we will set Kronis here aside for now, because we will still need to mess with all this other stuff later after it's had time to fully set. Because we still have our trap jaw to make as well. Ow. I just bit my tongue. You know, I just noticed that vintage Masters of the Universe figures don't have hole pegs. Alright, so that should be long enough holding him together. Now let's go ahead and do our trap jaw. Before we get too far on this though, we've got to decide which of these two heads we want to use. Because I went looking for the best head I could find, and sadly, pretty much on all the heads, the mouth does not really stay put on its own. I actually think the paint looks like it's best on this head though, so that will probably be the one that I go with. Although it doesn't go all the way up to the edge there. But this part is broken on so many of these figures, it's not even funny. And then usually has to be repainted, and I sadly don't have a good painting skill. I could take like a paint marker and maybe touch up some spots on black, but anything more than that, you're asking for trouble with me. So I think this is our winner because it looks like it's got the best paint job in my opinion. Again, we'll need to do the same thing. We'll need to put plastic weld around the outside and on some of this stuff. Reattach that and the head, and then we will have to let that sit again overnight to finish curing. So let's go ahead and dab our plastic weld. Again, we're going to pretty much hit all the same spots that we did previously. I'm actually going to go ahead and get the armholes in this one too. So one of the other issues I had when I was trying to take apart the trap jaws, again, I mentioned before that the plastic was really kind of brittle at that point. I had, on the ones that broke that I had, in both cases, it was when I tried to take the arm off, specifically the human arm, not the gun arm. It snapped off parts because it was just so stuck together. So I would recommend, if you do try to take arms and stuff off of vintage MOTU figures, to go ahead and just heat them up first in like hot water. And I prefer hot water over a heat gun because, well, let's just say I've melted parts the other way before. I actually have a trap jaw body, and I didn't bring it with me to do this video, but it's actually the only one I have was from Malaysia. And I asked Ken about it because the plastic is actually different, and honestly, I liked it better, but unfortunately, the head was busted on that one. Otherwise, I would have been using that for my trap jaw. But yeah, the plastic was definitely better. The color held up better, and just overall, the plastic felt better. So we've done our plastic weld. Grab the back here. We'll put our body in place. Put our head in place. I'm just going to turn the head all the way around to keep the jaw out of the way. See if I can get this body to go to bed better, easier than the previous one. I'm going to have to give this one some extra force here because that really did not feel like it wanted to go together very well. Oh. Yeah, the top part here really does not want to stay together at all. Huh. I think I might have to get some help with that. Alright, so this torso does not want to stay together very well at all. So I think I'm going to have to try to hold it together. Unfortunately, I don't have any clamps, But first I am going to add some more plastic weld in here. What I'm going to try to do, and hopefully this won't have a negative effect on this, I'm going to take some tape. Because unfortunately I don't have any clamps or anything here to try to use to hold this body together. Man, this thing really does not want to. I'm afraid to put it over where the plastic weld is because I don't want the tape to melt into it also. So I guess maybe we'll just have to hold it. Things never seem to want to go as planned, do they? There we go. Alright, so we got Trapjaw's torso all taped up here. And hopefully the plastic weld will do its job, and I'm not very convinced that this one's going to work. It seems like I need to tape all of them back together here. Guess we'll see how things go tomorrow when we go to try finishing this off. Alright, well, I will see you all later. And we are back, so we can take a look and see how our attempts at resealing these things went. I've also got with me a bowl of hot water, and I am going to put the arms in there to loosen them up a bit before I go to put them on back on the figures. Oh, that's gonna suck. I will do this one separately. The resin ones are a lot heavier and they're sitting in place nicely. This one just wants to float, and I want to try to avoid burning myself. So, looks like we got a good seal on Kronis here. So, let's take a look at his armor. And hopefully this is softened up enough to go on here without having to worry about breaking anything. And it does. Now, I was kind of debating because I got the extra. Should I have both sides on? Does impede his head movement a little bit. Or just leave it singly. Kind of thinking, I do kind of like the idea of it being more like a vest, so I will go with 2 bits of armor. And we have his other arm in place. We'll add his belt for good measure, give him the pirate look. Even though I don't actually have any equipment that goes on there. What I think would have been nice, and what they should have done with that Kronos, was also just design a gun for him that would or a hand I should say, where you could put the other equipment on there for Trapjaw, and that would have looked really nice. So anyway, give him the axe that was included. And we have our custom vintage version of Kronis to go with our hopefully sealed trap jaw. Maybe I will take those off though. That does look kind of silly, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about having both sides of the body armor on him. And of course he's got his killer axe here. I should probably get some of the fleshing off of that. But boom. Yep. Now we have a vintage Kronis. And we will go ahead and try taking off the tape that we used to help hold him together. Hopefully the plastic and the tape did not melt into the... This is already not looking too good, to be honest. It does not look like it held together properly. Well, we do have the cracks there still, but you know what? I will take a chance and see if just putting his arms back on will help hold those together. And if they don't, I will have to give it another attempt in the future. He squeaks. I don't know if you can hear that or not. All right, let's go heat up the arm here for a moment. Soften the plastic enough so that we can get it on this side without causing too many problems. There we go. Give him back his belt. Now this was kind of funny too about the vintage trap jaw. The equipment, the gun and the claw thing both had the have a little notch for the belt, and then the hook has nothing. So I'm gonna put the hook in place. I'm going to go ahead and put the notches on. Let's see if we can get this belt a little tighter, maybe. Nope. All right. So there we have it. Vintage trap jaw and Origins trap jaw. Still a bit concerned about the body not fully sealing like it's supposed to. Maybe I'll try something else later. I'm also not really sure vintage trap jaw here is going to stand up on his own. I'll lean him against there. And we have our vintage Kronis and Origins Kronis. Nice little addition to our MOTU party. I do actually prefer this stuff being on here. Like, I think maybe if they'd painted the bracers green, this would have looked a little bit better. But I guess if you look at it like this, in the comics at any rate that were done by for the 2000 series where they introduced Kronis, basically Keldor practically destroyed them and had him rebuilt, so you had more of the mechanical pieces in there, and that's why he ends up looking like Trapjaw. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Especially let me know what you think about having both of these on Kronis here. Thanks for watching.